Imagine this. The residents of Charleston, South Carolina in the 1800s have just finished rebuilding the city from the devastations of the Civil War. Charleston is then hit by two hurricanes in 1885, which caused some damage to buildings and homes. They then spent time fixing these damages, and just when they think their worries were over, a catastrophe occurs. In 1886, Charleston was hit by the largest recorded earthquake in history in the southeast. With a magnitude of 7.6, this earthquake devastated Charleston in less than a minute. On the evenings of August 27th and 28th, the residents of Summerville, South Carolina, which is just a small town northwest of Charleston, seemed to have felt a barely noticeable and mild earthquake, commonly known as a foreshock. A foreshock is not like an aftershock. It is more infrequent and is known as a mild earthquake before the bigger seismic event takes place. The people of Summerville, South Carolina, felt this foreshock but chose to ignore this sign. This was probably because many had no idea what this small shake of the ground could really entail in the future. No one in Charleston was prepared for the massive earthquake that would soon hit on August 31st, just before 10 p.m., which was just 3 days after the small foreshocks felt in Summerville. The first reports of the earthquake were in different areas far from Charleston, such as Boston, Chicago, and even Cuba. But the damage to Charleston was by far the worst. There was slight damage to buildings in Ohio and even Alabama as well, which shows you how big the earthquake really was. The earthquake's total area was 5 million square kilometers. Just as the residents of Charleston were getting in bed, the earthquake struck with disaster. Many people were actually afraid to sleep indoors for the following hours due to the fear of aftershocks to follow. They actually camped outside, and African Americans and white people all camped out together. Eventually, tensions grew, leading to segregated camping sites. This led to racial and class conflicts as the sanitation rates fell. This massive earthquake remained a mystery to scientists for many years. Charleston was in the middle of the North American plate, which was very far from tectonic activity. Soon scientists discovered that an underlying ancient fault was part of a Pangea breakup from the Mesozoic area was actually underneath Charleston. The concealed fault probably had stress pushing the two sides of it together from pressure of the Earth's crust. Once that stress builds up, the two sides of the fault were moved or slipped away from each other, causing a massive shift. This energy is transmitted through the crust of the Earth, causing the earthquake. The destructive nature of the earthquake killed more than 100 people, destroyed tons of building and infrastructure, produced many fires and waterline ruptures, and bent railroads. There were many aftershocks felt for weeks. All in all, there was 5.5 million reported in damage, which would equate to $112 million today.